everyone. Long time no see. I actually have a very exciting video planned for today, as you can tell by the title of today's video. But before we begin, I don't want to yap for forever in the beginning, so I'm going to very quickly say that if you don't follow me on my other socials, I'm at Jade's Books 5 on TikTok and Instagram. I do a lot of short form content over on my TikTok and then post some bookish posts and some of my reviews over on my Instagram. I'll also link down below my Fable and my Goodreads in case you want to follow me over there, where I really post all of my full-length reviews over on my Goodreads. So if you want my full reviews, go follow me over there. My Fable, I don't really use all that much. I need to catch up with it, but I'll also link that below in case you want to follow me on there as well. So basically, this video is going to be all the authors that I've read in 2025 that have since cemented themselves into auto-buy authors for me. Basically, I will read anything that they write. If they wrote it, I will read it. If they write a grocery list, I'm going to be there reading it because they are now my new favorite authors and I want to read more of them in 2026. So the first one that I have is Annabelle Monaghan. I absolutely love her books. The way she's able to weave romance and women's fiction together into like this genre-defined book literally needs to be studied. She is so talented. I love her writing. I love her characters. I love the character development that they go through and just the little messages that she has in each book. She wrote Nora Goes Off Script, Same Time Next Summer, Summer Romance, and It's a Love Story. This one is honestly probably my least favorite. I just read it I think I finished it literally like 3 days ago, and I did give it 2 stars. Yep, I did give it 2 stars. But with my favorite summer romance, I always say that this book is literally girlhood in a book. It talks about girlhood and womanhood and mother-daughter relationships. And I think that this is a book that all girls can relate to, no matter their age and no matter what point in their life that they are at. I feel like with just this book in general, you can find something to learn and to relate to, and I absolutely loved it. And this is a bit out of context, but there's this line in the book that says, our main character, her name is Allie, and so it says something along the lines of, Allie knows that she'll always own a dog. And out of context, you're like, what is she talking about? But like, this book was just honestly, if you get any recommendations out of this video, please let it be summer romance. I absolutely loved it. It was amazing. This book follows a main character. Her name is Allie. She just recently went through a divorce. Her mother passed away 2 years ago. Her husband left her. Now her divorce is finalized. The day that she takes off her wedding ring and actually goes and gets dressed, she runs into this guy. And it says that he looks at her like a younger and braver version of herself. But as a recently single divorced mother, she doesn't know if there's going to be anything there with him. But she's like, you know what? What's wrong with the little summer romance? This book just has so much depth to it, and I definitely recommend because there are some emotional topics in here and I just loved it so much. So as a whole, Annabelle Monaghan really has cemented herself in my heart. She does have a book coming out next year. It's called Dolly All the Time, and it's supposed to come out May 26th of 2026. But a new favorite author of mine that I found in 2025 is Catherine Center. I love Catherine Center. In my opinion, she's like the queen of rom-coms. So as you can tell, she wrote Hello Stranger, The Bodyguard, which is my favorite, and then the rom-comers. I am going to say that this is my least favorite, but I feel like that is too strong of a word for it. I just did not enjoy the rom-comers as much as I did The Bodyguard and then Hello Stranger. So if you don't know what The Bodyguard's about, I've talked about it on my channel before, but this is like a gender-bending take on a bodyguard situation where the girl is the bodyguard and she's assigned to a famous Hollywood actor, Jack Stapleton, to protect him from his dangerous stalker. But due to like other reasons standing, he does not want anyone to know that he is being protected, that he has a bodyguard. And so he comes up with this plan to pretend that him and our main character Hannah are dating while they stay at his parents' house to help his mom, who is sick. This book was literally so funny, so dramatic. It had some action scenes because our main character Hannah knows what she's doing. She's good at her job. She is more than just a bodyguard. And so I definitely recommend that you read this book. I absolutely loved it. And then my least favorite, and again, least favorite is it's like being a bit dramatic because I just did not enjoy it as much as the other ones, but that is the rom-comers. And I think the reason why I couldn't connect with this book was because I was fighting a reading slump while I was reading it. But this one follows our main character. Her name is Emma. She's an aspiring screenwriter, and she gets this opportunity to rewrite this very famous screenwriter's script, his rom-com script, and his name is Charlie Yates. And when she gets there to LA, because she's moving from her state, I can't remember where, but to LA to work with him, she shows up at his house. He doesn't know she's coming. He does not appreciate the fact that someone sent her to rewrite his script for him. And so he is just really mean to her, really rude, very defiant, and he calls her a failed screenwriter. And so she's like, well, okay then, like never meet your heroes. But she still stays there because she wants to prove herself and she's not going to let a mean man bring her down. And so she ends up staying at his house to help him with this rom-com, to help him rewrite his rom-com script. And that's kind of where our story takes off. So in addition to the rom-comers and these two other books, Catherine Center also has a whole backlist of other ones. I have never read them before. I've only read these three, and she also has another one coming out next year. It is called The Shippers and it releases May 19th of 2026. So keep an eye out for that. I'm literally so excited. I'm so excited for that one. But this is my second newest favorite author that I found this year. Next we have Julie Olivia. I've only read this one book from her. I have not read any of her others. I know she has a backlist as well. I don't even know if she's coming out with the book next year. But if she is, I'm hoping it is an interconnected standalone from this world, because I read this book and I absolutely loved her characters. The way Julie Olivia just tells the story and the character development that she gave our characters. And I was like, I need to read more from her. After I read this book, I was like, I had no idea who this woman was. And now I want to read everything she has ever written, which is just like the best feeling ever whenever you read a book, is whenever you find an unknown author and then now you have this whole list of books that you can read from them. So this book is set during the 90s and it follows our main character, Michelle, as she moves to this small town in Vermont to take over her recently deceased mother's bed and breakfast. While there, she meets her next door neighbor. He's a single dad of two. He is the town's beloved baker, and they strike up a friendship whenever Michelle needs help with her hospitality skills, something that Cliff has just bunches of. And our story kind of starts from there, when they're spending time together because she needs help learning how to be nice to the customers coming into her mother's bed and breakfast. Like I said, this is the only book I read from her, and even though she has a whole backlist of books, I cannot wait to see what else she writes in the future, because I will literally be waiting in line to get my copy of it. So next, if you want silly romance books that doesn't have a lot of spice in them, then I definitely recommend Sarah Adams's When in Rome series. I read these books this year, and the reason why I read these books, let me tell you, is because I actually won a Goodreads giveaway for Beg, Borrow, and Steal. And when I saw that this is the third book in the Interconnected Standalone series, even though you don't have to read all of them in order, I wanted to. And so when I saw that this was the third book, I immediately bought the first two and binge read them. And like, she charmed me. Sarah Adams definitely charmed me. These books follow a group of siblings that live in the small town of Rome, Kentucky, as they find love with unlikely people, whether it be singers or their enemies or just random strangers. That's what these books are about. My favorite has to be between Practice Makes Perfect and Beg, Borrow, Steal. I think the cover of this one, though, is absolutely stunning. I love the colors, the coral within the blue, and then the fact that they're like hiding from each other. It really gives off, like, this is the enemies to lovers one, so it really gives off that dynamic. Or I should say hate to love, like enemies to lovers, but it really gives off that dynamic really well. Sarah Adams is releasing one more book to close out this series, and this one actually releases December 30th of this year, and it's going to be called In Your Dreams, and I'm literally so excited for that book. You guys have no idea. I'm going to be first in line at the bookstore ready to buy it, because we're closing out with their last sister, and we get hints of her and her main love interest throughout the whole series. And it's just the best feeling whenever you know it's coming and you've been anticipating it, and now that it's finally here and you just can't wait to read it. That's literally this. And so I am so excited. If you want romance books that don't have a lot of spice in them, Sarah Adams's When in Rome series is going to be your best friend. Next, we have my emotional romance queen herself, Miss Cara Bastone. She writes very emotional romance reads that have a lot of character depth to them, and each of her characters in each of her books are literally always going through something. And this one, our main character is going through a surprise pregnancy, and we see how that has changed her relationships with people, like literally forever. But my favorite has to be Promise Me Sunshine. This one was released, I want to say, earlier this year, and at first I wasn't vibing with it, but then as we continued on in the story, I just really fell in love with it. And the reason for that was definitely the character development that both of our main characters had at the end. Also, I think these covers are just really pretty also. Like, look at this. She knows what she's doing. Her illustrator knows what they are doing. And what I mean by emotional romances is, like I said, our characters are always going through something. This one's the accidental / surprise pregnancy. And I know that is not a very well-liked trope in the book community, but I still say give this one a chance. It was really cute. She executed it so well, and I definitely recommend this one. But as for this one, our main character, Lenny, her best friend just recently passed away. And so she is trying to go through she's just trying to figure out how to live in a world where her best friend is no longer there with her, and just trying to find a way through the grief to just make it day by day. And while she's going through all her grief and just these emotional trials, she meets this guy that she's at first unsure of, but then they end up striking an unlikely friendship that eventually leads into something more. But again, this one, I do say please give it a try. It was really good. Again, I felt like Cara Bastone did such a good job with it. The problem in this one is, like I said, her surprise pregnancy just changes the relationships with the people around her really forever. And I really enjoyed this one. So hopefully you get an idea of what I mean by emotional romance. She also has a new book coming out next year, which is called No Matter What. It comes out in early March, and I actually already read this one. So if you want to go see my review, I'll link it down below and it'll take you to my review on Goodreads. But this one really follows this young couple on the verge of divorce and them slowly finding their way back to each other, all while slowly working on the things that were keeping them apart in the first place. But she really has cemented herself as an autobi author for me. Lastly, we have the Abby Jimenez. I had literally read all of her books this year, my least favorite being the Happy Ever After playlist, and we are not going to talk about that. Nope, we are not going to talk about that. But my favorite is Yours Truly. I gave this one 5 stars. I absolutely love this one. I related to our main character, Jacob, so much. Abby Jimenez writes him with really well, in my opinion, well-written anxiety representation. And I did see this review where this person did not like this book because they felt like it was just a bunch of anxiety stereotypes. But that's literally how Jacob's anxiety in this book is literally how my anxiety works. And so I saw myself in him so much, and I gave it 5 stars just because I felt seen while reading this book. And so this is a very personal book for me. That's the reason why I loved it so much. I know this probably won't be everyone's cup of tea, and I know some people's favorites are just for the summer or part of your world, but I really love this one, and it is the fact that our main character, Jacob, we got to see him go through the motions of his anxiety, and we got to see our female main character love him despite that fact. But this one really cemented my love for her. And even though I have yet to read an Abby Jimenez book that has evoked that kind of reaction in me, I still love her. I'm still going to be picking up her books. She has another one coming out next year called The Night We Met. This is the second book in like a totally different series, in the same world, but just a different series. And I think the same world, but definitely different series. You don't have to read any of these books to read that series, which is the series that also has Say You'll Remember Me in it. That one's the first one. The second one is her new one coming out next year, which is The Night We Met, which comes out March 31st. And those covers are honestly so pretty. And the fact that their song titles, Say You'll Remember Me, The Night We Met, genius. She knows what she's doing. But those are 6 authors that I read this year that are now my autobi authors. Whatever they write, I will read. Even if it's grocery list, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be first in line to read it. And I'm just so happy to share some of those authors with y'all. Let me know some of y'all's new favorite authors of this year. I'm excited to see what everyone says. Bye.